You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you're ready.
Manufacturing and production dates as far back as to the creation story, which is documented in the Bible at Genesis chapter 1, where God created heaven and earth out of nothing. Now, manufacturing and production over the years has contributed immensely to growth, the economy and the environment. Now, ongoing behind me, is one of the typical and most common and the most indigenous form of production and manufacturing that can be found in Ghana. Now, behind me is the production of what many students term as the lifesaver, Gary.
Come with me.
I believe all of us seated here today has one way or the other benefited from manufacturing and production. In the sense that, look around you, the clothes you wear, your mobile phone, your watch, all these products that you find around you, how did they come into existence? How did they come into being? What did they go through to arrive as the final products they are today? They all went through the manufacturing and production process. Now, manufacturing simply refers to creating resources or creating goods out of available resources that are tangible. Now, in creating of or manufacturing only involves the creation of goods. However, production simply refers to the production or the creation of utilities from available resources, which could either be tangible or intangible. In simple terms, we can say manufacturing is production, but not all production is manufacturing. Manufacturing and production is the backbone of every booming modern day economy today. Let's take a good look at China. Now, until the industrial boom in China was just an average country which had a lower per capita income compared to Ghana. Now, take a good look at China. China averages about 92.4% total gross domestic product from manufacturing and production, according to official data from the World Bank. Now, this significantly shows how important manufacturing and production is to the growth of every economy.
So manufacturing is said to date back to the creation of the earth, according to the books. That's about 6,000 years ago, where God used clay as the raw material, which stands as which stands very large in human nature. So let's go to the history of the creation of dustbins and metal recycling. So the dustbin originates as a removable container for the temporary storage of rubbish. Can be traced to the 1800s. It took until the 1960s for the standardized dustbin to become a reality. Okay, let's get to the 1970s recycling history. Aluminium was crushed to make cans. Although recycling may seem like a modern concept, but it was started by the environmental movement in the 1970s. Industrial revolution in Ghana. So the times have changed where people use their hands to manufacture goods. Now machines and equipment have been introduced to make large quantities of the same goods. So in 1957, after independence, Kwame Nkrumah produced a drive in industrialization, which brought about to emerging companies like the vehicles, the textile companies, assembly lines in the world as large. In 1908, Henry Ford and Charles Sorensen arranged all the key elements of a manufacturing system, including machines, tools, products, and people to manufacture the Model T automobile. Ford developed the assembly line, assigning specific tasks to each person in the line to get the cars built fast and efficient. Between 1908 and 1927, Ford manufactured around 50 million Model T cars. He even paid his employees wages high enough to afford the cars, making them consumers as well. Coming to Ghana, Sunyani magazine produced the first automobile in Ghana. And later, coming to the 2015s, we see Kantanka Automobiles merging, producing 2 cars per year in the year 2015. But as of 2020, Kantanka can now produce 50 to 70 cars per year.
Alright, I'll be briefing you on lean manufacturing and robotics in the timeline of manufacturing. So, lean manufacturing was developed by Toyota Motor Corporation in the year 1948, and this system was to increase production through identification and elimination of waste. However, it remained in Japan until the 1970s and the 1990s, where it was well spread, and currently this way of manufacturing is practiced in our country in all major companies. Then, as time went on, human beings became increasingly lazy and needed the aid of machines due to human error and other stuff. So we started using robots in our work and in the term known as robotics. So the first robot, Televox, was made in the year 1926 by Westinghouse Electric Corporation, and this robot was a housekeeping gadget. Later in 1937, another humanoid robot was made by that same corporation, and this time this robot could do almost everything a human being could do and aided in manufacturing and production. Fast Track 1950, General Motors introduced their first industrial robot, Unimate, to help in the production, and that system is currently used today. And even in Ghana, we have this robot by name Human Sensor 1, made by Apostle Sofu Kantanka in the year 2001.
On production, there are three types, namely primary production, secondary production, and tertiary production. Primary production is carried out by extractive industries such as mining, forestry, and agriculture, in which they obtain gifts from nature. Next is the secondary production, also known as the manufacturing industry, which processes raw materials from primary production into finished and semi-finished goods. And lastly is the tertiary production, which provides services to their consumers. Types of production are interconnected. For instance, wood obtained for trees is converted into beds, wardrobes, and further sold to consumers.
Ghana has a large and very active consumer and industrial products and services sector that provides products and services to the Ghanaian economy and the world as a whole. A policy of industrialization has resulted in the establishment of a wide range of manufacturing industries producing food products, beverages, tobacco, textiles, clothes, footwear, timber and wood products, chemicals and pharmaceuticals, and metals, including steel and steel products. Almost all began as state-owned enterprises, but now are mostly privatized. High-quality sand in the Takwa mining area provides the basis for a small but important glass-making industry. Cement factories has been developed at the Tema and Takrade areas. Apart from traditional industries such as food processing, Ghana also has a large number of long-established large and medium-sized manufacturing enterprises. A large-scale manufacturing sector includes textiles, drinks, food, plastics, vehicle assembling, and aluminium processing. Much of it is owned and managed by the Lamanese community, but multinational companies such as Unilever and Valco also run factories in Ghana.
And production have traditionally played a key role in the economic growth of developing countries. Ghana's economic growth over the last decade has been among the most rapid in Africa. There are empirical evidence for the importance of manufacturing for economic development, which are summarized in the following points. 1. It provides employment for majority of people, which has helped improve standard of living and eradicate poverty. 2. It has generated foreign exchange and revenue to the nation, thereby fighting against hunger, reducing poverty and promoting quality education. Let's take cocoa board for example. Through the East Cocoa products, it has able to generate a lot of revenue used in the provision of scholarships for promotion of quality education, production of goods and provision of services by the manufacturing and production industry has brought about substantial increase in the GDP of almost every country. According to the official data from the World Bank, the GDP for manufacturing and production of Ghana in the year 2018 contributed 74% to the economy of Ghana. This shows the significance of manufacturing and production on Ghana's economy.
The role of the manufacturing and production industry in the society. The manufacturing and production industry in the society has helped improve society over years, though there has been many challenges. One of the ways to achieve the sustainable development goals in the society is to create more jobs and employment for the people in the society. The industry says to train more skilled personnel in the area of art. This can be achieved by encouraging people in the vocational and technical institutes. Furthermore, societal sustainability can be achieved by reducing machine process energy consumption, minimizing waste, and improving tool life. This sector also checks the health and associated welfare of the people in the society.
Okay, with the role of manufacturing on the environment, a large and growing number of manufacturers contribute massively for the betterment of the environment through sustainable production. For example, it was reported between the year 1990 and 2010 that there has been a 1.7 billion increment in the number of people with access to electricity and other clean energy, which though may require high capital in their installment but cost less in their operation and is environmental friendly, unlike fossil fuel manufacturing. Secondly, climate change such as water scarcity is a major problem being faced by manufacturing companies such as bottled and sachet water. If water supply in which products are manufactured deplete in quantity and quality, the business is at risk. In view of this, water efficiency efforts are being bought by manufacturers to ensure water security so as to avoid scarcity to achieve SDGs. Lastly, major efforts have been deployed to promote good health in the environment. The pharmaceutical industries has led to the manufacture of drugs used to quarantine diseases. These industries also manufacture antidotes for the treatment of dangerous viral diseases, which at the end reduces mortality rates in the environment.
Like how Ben's are na
Oh, how do you libre? Some give me no answer any you bit when you be I'm bit when you be my I don't know in front of I don't know how but na that you now talking about the barriers facing the manufacturing industry. The central issue facing the manufacturing industry, especially in Ghana, is the lack of proper roadmap for its implementation and adaptation. As with most paths to organizational changes, there are numerous barriers and conflicts, causing the roadmap to be a vicious circle. Using the experts and the practitioners' advice, we arrive at 5 barriers facing the manufacturing industry, and these barriers are lack of proper managerial support and commitment, inadequate source of raw materials, moreover, insufficient training, education, and reward system. Again, unavailability of appropriate technology. And then lastly, fear of and resistance to organizational change.
The future of manufacturing and production industry. The future of manufacturing and production industry of Ghana has increased immensely from the first century to the current century. Now, to improve upon the manufacturing and production industry, every manufacturer must go for speed, go for growth, and invest into the youth of the country. Now, we must also go and attract, develop, and retain tomorrow's leaders. We have to invest into the training of our people so that we can do the practical work. That is, when we invest into them, we will not be learning why this thing happened. We will not be learning how this came about, and then we'll go into the innovation aspect, and in so doing, the future of Ghana will be bright.